So, you want to be a politician next election, I see. Or maybe you're already in Parliament and want to get an understanding of where the people are at right now. Well, here's my guide for you on how to win my vote next election. Maybe it'll help you win others' votes too. I don't have a background colour on this slideshow because I don't represent any party, and I am willing to vote for any party as long as they follow this handy guide. The first thing you have to do is pass a basic morality check and pledge to repeal the Online Safety Act. This is non-negotiable. If you are unwilling to do this, you will not get my vote next election. I don't have children, but I have cousins, and I do not want them to grow up in a world where their access to anything the government deems politically sensitive, or anything that a site owner might think the government will find politically sensitive, is censored for them. I do not want them to live in a world where everything they say and do online is linked to their face and ID. This is horrifying, unacceptable, and I will fight against this law until my dying breath. When the people voted against the Tories last election, I believe we as a country were sick of policy like this. It could have been the easiest win for Labour to see this in the pipeline, crush it, and call out the Tories for their terrible, terrible policies. They would have been seen as heroes. But no, they chose to greenlight it. So, I repeat, if you do not have the basic moral fibre to fight against this, you will not get my vote. If you voted to pass this last election and do not speak up against it before the next one, you will not get my vote. If you do not publicly oppose it during your campaign, you will not get my vote. I will not accept a challenge, a campaign to only rewrite or fix the law. That is not good enough. Repealing it completely is the minimum. Alright, now we've got that part of the way. Tiebreaker issues. I'm going to list these in no particular order, but in the case that hopefully everyone agrees on that first point, I'll be thinking about the following issues as a filter. Number 1. Undoing the damage on rights to free speech offline. Calling everyone who disagrees with you a terrorist and arresting them for peacefully holding up a sign or waving a flag is just silly. UK government, we're all laughing at you. I think it makes you look pathetic and weak. Please note that I'm specifically calling out the way the law is being enforced and not giving support for the victims of this enforcement because I don't want to be thrown into jail myself. And I'm sure it's been covered more than well enough elsewhere. The fact that I even have to be concerned about being arrested for as little as that in the first place, though, is a bit worrying. Giving customers the right to own products they've paid for, digital or otherwise. If I buy a car, I want the right to use everything inside it to the fullest, as it is a product I own and have paid for. I do not want a new free car once support from the original manufacturer ends, but I do want the right to continue to use, repair, and modify the one I already own. If I buy a video game or a piece of other software, I want the right to use everything inside it that I've paid money for the fullest. I do not want the product to suddenly become free for everyone once support for that product ends. But I want the right to still be able to use, repair, and modify what I have paid for. Sadly, this is impossible for a lot of government software right now. There was a petition in the UK asking the government to address this in both the Tory and Labour regimes, and despite reaching 100,000 votes, it was largely just dismissed. You, new politician, you could be the one to deliver on the people's will. Removing corruption in Parliament. Like, if politicians were being paid a couple $100,000 or something by lobbyists, at least I'd get it, right? But from what I've heard, you're not even that expensive. It's honestly pretty shameful if you ask me. Anyways, from my outside perspective, that's likely a major factor in how things got this bad in the first place. Give yourself a slightly higher wage if you have to, but make taking bribes illegal, and start putting the people who both give and accept them, when they get caught, in prison. An economic solution which does not involve taking money from the people struggling the most, the disabled and those living paycheck to paycheck. The kind of stuff that historically the Labour Party was supposed to stand for. I know, you might not get as many bribes this way. It'd truly be a shame. Really. Not putting a bribe to the NHS's throat. This links to the previous point. Sick people can't work. Dead people definitely can't work. We don't want to turn into America, where saving people's lives becomes secondary to generating profit, and so many of us end up locked into medical debt. Eye care is healthcare. Dental care is healthcare. Ear care is healthcare. People can die or have serious issues without one of those, so why are they so limited on the NHS? I remember when this was my first priority an election or two ago. Now it's still high priority, but things become so much worse here in the UK. Choosing not to bend the knee to dictators and war criminals. Yes, I count Trump in this. Yes, I count Putin. Yes, I count Old Nettie. To that end, I'd like to see you pledge support and continue supporting the defenders who didn't ask to be invaded in global conflicts, so that said dictators can't just show up, destroy everything, and subjugate or slaughter an entire people. We stand for freedom here in the UK. Don't we? Reducing our reliance on fossil fuels, so we don't have to bend the knee to those people as much. Also, trying to slow down global warming. Stopping it's probably out of the question at this point, but slowing it down? That'd be nice. Undoing the damage the Equality and Human Rights Commission and other hate groups like them have been causing to trans and LGBTQ rights. Human rights should apply to everyone. This shouldn't be complicated. Ignoring science that does not agree with you, and not even inviting trans people into conferences where you discuss the fate of trans people, for example. I've already said this once, but it's shameful. The current administration should be ashamed. There may be other issues that might convince me, of course. I might have forgotten something, and you might stand for every point on this list. But remember, if you're unwilling to campaign to repeal the Online Safety Act fully, you will not get my vote. I will not sway on this. As a closing note, I actually try my best to avoid talking about politics usually. I'm the kind of person who chooses to censor themselves a lot in public, but I do that because I choose to. Because I have the choice. The moment you try and take that choice away, even if only by a little, I'm going to speak up. I don't think I'll ever make this a political channel. Heck, the stars had to align for me to upload anything on here in the first place. But maybe I'll make one of these again in a year or so, just to keep a record for myself. See what's changed, how my opinions have changed. If, indeed, I'm still free enough to. It's not like these videos are going to be seen by anyone out of the way. I'm just doing this for me. I love my country, and part of loving something is wanting it to be the best that it can be. Goodness, talking about this actually felt nice for a change.